Well, welcome back into the mid-Norfolk garden. Got a lovely autumn evening here. Sun's still got some warmth in it, and these plants are really making the most of that last bit of warmth and sunshine combination with the rain that we've had here in the last couple of weeks, really bringing these on. These dahlias have been here for several years in what is now the new kitchen cutting garden. This is the first year they've really given us a show of flower. It's got a nice little combination of colours in this border. It's really quite hot. And from the window we get quite a nice long view of them, particularly like this tall, deep burgundy copper. Just look at the way that's just catching the light here in the evening. Absolutely fantastic. In contrast with the little squat white dumpy one here with the yellow centre, just makes it all the more unusual and special. It's a lovely mixed planting. Just looking through it, having the depth, we're going to expand this up, I think, now we've got this border into the size and shape it's going to stay. So hopefully next year with double or 3 times the planting of dahlias in here as we put the collection together, we'll hopefully have a really good display. This little yellow flower is perennial rocket. It's got quite woody by now and it's peppery hot, so not much that we can actually pick off it at this time of year, but I don't deadhead this, I do let it seed. You can see the long thin seed pods developing here, and they'll thicken up. There's a better example there, full of tiny little black seeds that ripen up. They darken as they do. That's an even better example, and the seeds will scatter all around these plants and germinate naturally, so it's a great way of keeping your rocket going for year after year after year, even if this plant dies out. We've kept this one going probably for about 3 or 4 years, and every year we cut it down more or less to the crown on the ground and it comes back, but around it we've now got quite a little collection, and it's probably time to move some of these into new growing positions. Here's one of those younger plants. You can see it's on a very long stem. The actual rootstock is coming out there. But the actual business end of the plant, because this is in such a bad position where it seeded itself, is about a foot away and it's collapsed on itself. Still rocket worth picking on this one. They are prone to drought, and this year the rocket crop's not been as good as we'd normally have, but it's done okay and it's coming back now. We're getting more rain, but I do need to transplant a lot of these little secondary growth plants into probably the new vegetable garden and grow them on, because they're just not getting enough light or water here to really do much. Do need to protect this plant from the pigeons here. That's one of the reasons you'll see these metal cloches that I use here. Otherwise, in the early part of the season, pigeons just pick them bare. This is a little row of seedlings that I transplanted into this area of the garden last year, and you can see we've been picking these under the cloche, again protected from the pigeons during the earlier part of the season, and they're flowering away nicely now. If you wanted to increase the vigour of these and not let them seed, you could deadhead these at this stage and stop them setting seed, but it really doesn't seem to make much difference to the vigour and growth that you get the following season, so I tend to just leave them. Rowan trees in the back planting just behind the retaining wall in the kitchen garden are really at their peak now. This is quite a rare and unusual one, this pink berried variety. Very distinctive, great crop of berries on it this year. We have slightly mugged this tree by letting Paul's Himalayan Musk, which you can see the huge arching stems of coming out the top of this tree. It's a little one-sided now. We've got a few regrets in terms of putting it into this bush. We didn't realise it was going to be such an unusual rowan when we planted that rose when we first took over this garden. This is the more classic wild English native rowan with its bright crimson red berries, and again lovely crop of berries on this one. They just glow in the evening sunlight this time of year. They don't last that long. You think they're going to stand all winter, but if this season is anything like last, these will disappear to the blackbirds, crows, rooks magpies, starlings, everybody comes for the feast that's laid on by these berries over the next couple of weeks. And I'm guessing by the end of October, both sets of Roans will be stripped bare back to their leaf before dropping in late October. Last little autumn fruit to show you is my autumn raspberries. I usually grow autumn raspberries really well, but this year this border has really been neglected with the building teams we've had working through here. So they really have fell foul to the bindweed that has mugged these plants. That and the giant flowering thistle was supposed to be an artichoke, but it isn't. It's a flowering cardoon. It grows to about 9 feet, coming back in its second flush just the side, but that was a massive plant. You can see nothing's grown around it due to the lack of light and nutrients that it sucked out, but this border really is looking a little sad. The autumn raspberries are usually the only raspberries I ever get to pick. Birds seem to have plenty else to distract them with at this time of year, and we're getting a few little handfuls of these, but really I should have a full row of these. And I think once I've got the fencing done on the new vegetable garden, then I'll be digging up these plants later in the season and moving them through, try and grow them better in the next garden, because this is all going to be building site again come next spring. So, bit of a job on, but that does explain why I've let it go a little this season without being too upset by it.